everyone. This is Shelly Armato, CEO and co-founder of My Smart Plans. Today, we are honored to have an amazing guest, Mark Baker with Lantz. Did I say it right?
Boggio, Lantz-Boggio Architects in Inglewood.
I love that. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about just all things construction today and how we can impact the market together and do great things. So welcome. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Shelly.
We had a conversation before recording about the view that he must see outside his window in Colorado. And he said that he couldn't turn the camera so I could see the mountains. So I have my own visual of that. But I love Colorado. If I could afford, no, wait a minute, let me rephrase that. If I could reposition my company to Colorado, I would be in Colorado with everyone, but the housing is an adventure. And anyway, so we like the Missouri River here. It's brown and it's beautiful. That's a joke. So tell me a little bit about your firm. And I see you do a lot of senior living and go, listening.
Yeah, so Lantz-Boggio is about a 50-person firm in the Denver area, but we work nationwide and we also work overseas. And we are one of the largest firms in America for senior living. We do more senior living work than practically anybody in America, and we're a recognized industry leader for senior living, and that includes 55 plus kinds of products. It includes all kinds of care kinds of products, such as memory care and long-term care and that kind of stuff. And we do large campuses as well as smaller projects for senior living. We're also in the healthcare business, and we're doing healthcare projects here again all over America. We do a lot of MOB type of projects. We're doing quite a few for the VA these days, and that's really so gratifying to work for the VA for people who so deserve to have the best healthcare that America can possibly give. We're also in the government business. We do government projects for the Corps of Engineers, for the Navy, for the Army, for the Air Force, a whole bunch of different departments. And we've been in the government business for over 30 years. We're currently working overseas in the South Pacific, doing some projects on Kwajalein Atoll, which is, gosh, I don't even know how to describe where it is. It's southwest of Hawaii by, I don't know, over 1,000 miles, and it is southeast of Guam. So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Now, have you been to visit your project or no?
No, I have, absolutely, and it's fascinating going there. It takes forever to get there.
Yeah.
It's a military base, so we have the United States Army Missile Command is there that we support with design build of various projects, and it's really exciting work. And so healthcare, government, senior living, and interior design, we're a pretty vibrant company in a very vibrant economy right now. Everything seems to be springing back after COVID. And so we're really excited for what the future holds.
Now, how did it impact you with your employees working at their at-home office? Did you guys figure that out quickly, or is that something you already had in place?
We didn't have it in place, but we quickly got it in place. We shifted over to this Microsoft Teams environment. We shifted over to a software that's called Revit, BIM 360, which is everything's in the cloud. We do our specs in the cloud. We do lots of work in the cloud. So now, it's really a wonderful environment for owners, by the way, because this cloud-based Revit is something where the owners can see the projects as they go along and review as they go along. In particular, the government loves to do that. And then when we have a design meeting, they can say, hey, let's talk about this thing that we just noticed over here, and what about this and what about that? And they're really make some active participants, which we love.
Yeah, we have our first contract of 50 with the Corps of Engineers currently, and we have the first project that they've never had a modification because of our deliverable of what we're doing with the collaboration and the cloud and all those things. But the whole agenda is like, give people back their time, you know, let them have a life besides construction, because it is a definite, it is definitely a all-consuming profession, to say the least. You know, a lot of responsibility, a lot of moving parts. So we get
That's true. And we have to balance really the needs of a lot of our workers, a lot of our architects, which have, you know, they have family concerns, they've got small kids at home, they've got a life that we have to balance, and we have to make sure that they're okay. But really, our profession is one in which collaboration is so important. We have spontaneous conversations with people in the hallway or at lunch or whatever, and those conversations end up being really important, where we talk about things and think of things that we really hadn't considered before. So the face-to-face piece of it is also really important to us. We're not just building widgets in a factory. We really have to think about things very carefully.
Yeah, I totally understand. I get it. Well, we're behind the scenes reading and auditing all those documents to make sure that everything's complete and organized. And like, we've seen so many things, it's just always moving parts. But so I'm intrigued. So what's your position with the firm?
I'm a principal here, and I'm also the leader of the government design studio, and I've been doing that for many years. Yeah,
lots of travel, I can only imagine. What's your favorite airline to travel on? Depending on where you're going to occur, of course.
Well, Denver is in a wonderful position in the center of the country. So we can get to really almost anywhere in the continental United States pretty efficiently. We have probably 300 nonstops here in Denver. The predominant airline is United, and I keep all of my travel miles with United in order to just keep them as useful as possible. However, we have, I think it's 3 hubs that are here in Denver, 3 hub airlines. And of course, we have a railroad Amtrak going through, and we have multiple major highways going through. And so we end up being quite a hub for the Rocky Mountain region and for the center of the United States.
Well, it's gorgeous to fly into Denver is all I know. When we have a meeting, I'm like, I cannot wait to fly into Denver. It's so amazing. And your airport's also so amazing. Well, so what has been your favorite project? Have you got like a baby that you're like, oh, I'm in love with that project?
Certainly, I would say that there's lots of favorites for me. And that's one of the great things about being an architect is you are part of a project at the very birth of it. And then you come back later, you might go on site, you know, a year later, and here's 300 people that are working on something that you dreamed up and thought of and worked through with the permitting officials and the owner and everybody else. And it's just so wonderful to go through that experience. But one of my favorites, I would say, is the VA CBOC clinic, and CBOC stands for Community-Based Outpatient Clinic, that we're building in Santa Rosa, California. And Santa Rosa is such a beautiful community. Of course, it was had great danger with fires. Fires got very close to them several times, and but they have a pretty good, vibrant community of veterans, and they have a lot of need. And you know, the VA healthcare system is the largest healthcare system in the world. So the VA is sort of compelled to continue to build and continue to service their clientele. And in that regard, ambulatory care is by far the most important thing that they're doing, actually, for MOBs that are private as well as for public systems, healthcare systems. MOBs, ambulatory care, is the wave of the future. You can, you know, have an operation done or have you know, see your doc or have telehealth or whatever, and you can do all of that in a walk-in appointment or a digital kind of a Zoom-based appointment, and it's remarkable what they can accomplish. So this little CBOC, this little VA clinic, is in Santa Rosa, and it's around 40,000 square feet, and it's going to have some public art in the front of the building that's going to be gorgeous, and it's going to be in beautiful California, which I love.
Yeah, I love that. We every time we get to go to California for a meeting, we're like, oh my gosh, it is so gorgeous here. But of course, it's a different environment than Kansas City. Here, you know, our population's smaller. people here are much more, I want to say the word hicky, but that would not be appreciative for me to say that, but it's kind of true. I mean, we're doing a project in southern Missouri, and we stopped at this restaurant to eat, and we went in and everybody like almost dropped their fork, like, where did those people come from? It's okay. We're not from here. We're just having bacon and eggs. But anyway, it's just so amazing to go to communities that are so gorgeous like that. But anyway, well, I want to thank you for your time. I want to honor that you are a very busy person. And I want to also congratulate you on all of your amazing work. I can only imagine where you started and how many times you thought, okay, I'm going to give up. I don't know. Are you like that? Were you ever the guy that's like, okay, I'm going to give up? Or were you always just like steadfast, walking it out?
No, I'm discouraged like everybody else from time to time, but really there's no answer to that. The only answer is to keep driving forward. And I remember, here's another project that was pretty interesting. It was to build Kabul New City. And we were hired by a developer, and there was a national Afghanistan program to build a new Kabul, because Kabul really was designed, currently it's designed for, I don't know, 2 million maybe or something like that. And it's, of course, the capital city of Afghanistan. And now they have well over 5 million people living there. And so all of the systems, all of the utilities and everything, the city is it's really struggling when you put that many people into that kind of a location. Of course, Kabul is a historic location. It existed for many decades, actually many centuries. And anyways, where it is right now is, of course, it's very dangerous, but the government of Afghanistan, in association with the government of the United States and Japan and a number of other nations, they figured out that they wanted to build a new Kabul, Afghanistan, and they located some land a few miles away from the airport, northeast of the city, and we were we went there several times, and we met with the government. It was wonderful work, and we devised a master plan with them, and the land area was about the same size as Denver. So if you can imagine sitting down and designing a city the same size as Denver, all of the schools, all of the mosques, all of the shops, all of the housing, everything that is needed in a city. It was a remarkable endeavor, and it was an international team that we put together to do that. In the end, after all of that work, and I was prepared to really just to make this my life work. I mean, it was so a world changing, because it would have reimagined what Kabul could be in a much more safe and a much more sustainable way. And it would have just changed the nation in a lot of different ways. But unfortunately, the economy collapsed at the end. And so the project sort of dried up and floated away. And it was a really disappointing end to something that would have been just incredible. But at the end of that, I just looked back and said, well, I'm glad that I participated. It was really an interesting part of my life, but I got to move forward. It's time to go forward now. And so what's next? And I think that attitude of, okay, what's next? That attitude of reinvention is particularly important these days with coming out of the COVID pandemic, and also with these days of here we are in spring, Easter's just passed. It's also a time of reinvention and restarting our lives and saying, what's next?
Yeah, I love that. That's so my whole deal is music, because I mean, we started this company in a garage with $15,000 in 2006. My husband was a subcontractor for 43 years, so we lived the industry. And then he bonded a job for $1 million, and the rest of the story is to be written in like a Netflix series. But anyway, it's like, when you're reinventing an industry and you're the disruptor and you're all of these things, and you're also a woman in the construction industry, while people are like, oh, well, you have a certificate. Let me tell you, that is the last thing you put on the table, because it has nothing to do with anything. It's like you want to bring massive value to the project. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also a woman. But I have this song that I always play. It's from The Greatest Showman. I don't know. Did you ever watch that movie, The Greatest Showman?
No.
It is a must. Like, it is so amazing. So anyway, it's called This Is Me. And I'm like, I get up and I could do a TikTok video to it, even though I'm not a TikTok girl, but it's like, this is me. This is what I do. I'm going to keep moving. Get out of my way. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go. You know, and it's just like these things we can do to always encourage ourselves and step forward. And I think like the Kansas City Chiefs, their motto is keep your feet moving. So Travis Kelce's like, keep your feet moving, keep your feet moving. So I have a business coach who's also my mother, and she's always like, Shelly, keep your feet moving. I'm like, oh my, you're right, Mom. Okay. Keep my feet moving. So it's like, move. So anyway, again, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate our team's meeting, and I could sit for hours and listen to you because it's so intriguing to me how you get an idea and then all of a sudden you walk into it and you're like, oh, but this is like one of my husband's projects. He did all the state capitals. He did like all these huge projects. And one of them is Union Station in Kansas City. And the ceiling is this work of art. And every time we walk in, we're like, huh, look what you did. Because it's like, huh, how did that happen? You know what I mean? It's just, wow, what a privilege. I think it's a privilege.
Right. And it's so wonderful to be able to have that experience. Few people do, of being able to walk into something that you are associated with and go, look what I did. This is, you know, nobody else can point to this. This is mine. This piece is mine.
Yeah. Even if you were a tattoo person, that's almost tattoo worthy. When you die, you got like 52 tattoos. Well, this is this project. I'm kidding. I'm not a tattoo girl, but just like, you know, memorializing that and letting your grandchildren know this is what you can do whenever you decide all things are possible. And I believe all things are possible. So anyway, again, thank you. I'll see you probably sometime on the by and by in our travel schedule. Sometimes I'm sure we'll be in the same room together because we're doing a lot of government projects as well. And again, I appreciate you.
Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate it.
Okay. Have a great day.